in Vietnam!
Yes, yeah. Robin Williams.
Funny man. Crazy funny man.
Crazy. But anyways, we're back on
The Brion and Steve show.
The Brion and Steve show. We can talk like this.
I am Brion.
And I am Steve.
Just kidding.
Yes, just kidding for all you kiddies out there.
Why are we being so lighthearted when we have got the worst subject of all time?
I know. We are about ready to probably piss people off. But we're not.
That's not our aim.
That's not our aim. We're not.
This is not a troll aim.
Because every person on this list,
I like. Well, except for 5.
Let's see here. I want to make sure that I like them all. I do like all these guys. So, but
we're on the subject of overrated guitarists and underrated.
Yes.
Now, I looked up online just to show what overrated is. To overestimate the merits of, rate too highly. Now, when we're talking about greatest guitarists in the world, you got to distinguish between who is actually great with abilities and who is just your favorite. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the cue I was talking about. My personal favorites come down to Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, and my number one favorite is Brian May. When it comes to ability, he's really not.
He's not Steve Vai.
He's not Yngwie Malmsteen.
Or Yngwie Malmsteen.
But guess what? Who's got more number one hits?
Exactly. And the thing is, even though he is not doing, something that a lot of people would say, oh, that is totally brilliant.
Yeah.
He does make music that you like.
Well, and on the technical aspects as well, he was better harmonizing than Satriani and Yngwie, where actually Steve Vai is a genius at harmonizing as well. Although his harmonies are just freaking weird.
Very true.
Vi, why you gotta be so weird?
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if Vi is an ancient alien, as many ancient astronaut theorists suggest.
It might just be. Vi is Italian for go, and his brain is going.
He is going. I partly think it's because of the Zappa influence.
Yeah, Zappa was pretty freaking weird too.
He was pretty weird, and obviously Steve was playing with Zappa
and absolutely idolized him.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say real quick about Steve that I've always liked, not just you, Steve, but also Steve Vai, is that he can emulate almost any guitar player style.
He was pretty good at that. I got the Ultrazone. That's I've got a few of his, but the Ultrazone is my favorite, where he it's like Jackabuzu, some weird name of an instrumental, and he emulates Stevie Ray Vaughan pretty well in that. Not to the T, but pretty damn good.
Well, one of my favorite stories was when he was in Whitesnake for just that little bit of time, just that one album.
Yeah.
The rhythm guitarist had broken his arm, I believe it was. I'm talking with my hands in my face. and he broke his arm, so Steve Vai had to do all the rhythm tracks and all the stuff. And I remember reading the interview at the time. Steve said he had to try and get into the mind of the other guitar player and play like that guitar player would play. So I just thought that was an interesting little thing about Steve Vai.
Also going back to that, he's played in Deep Purple and he played in Alcatraz, where he played Malmsteen's notes. Slightly different, but it was pretty well spot on. Things that Malmsteen does, picking, because Malmsteen picks 90% of the time. He doesn't go for any bullshit type licks like tapping for speed, or even his sweeping arpeggios. You can call that a little gimmick, but he does it with class and with the melody in mind or whatnot, So it's not for speed. Like you'll see, go Google it, YouTube it. You'll see all these YouTube guitarists be like, oh, I got 30 notes per second, watch this, and it's just a shitty sounding arpeggio, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's shit.
Exactly. Slow down.
So, anyways,
practice.
that is my cue, because I mentioned 3 or 4 of my favorite. Now, this is the thing I'm trying to distinguish between, once again, is the abilities doesn't necessarily mean that they will be your favorites. The guys that are the best, that deserve some praise, may not be your favorites. So now we're going to his favorites.
Well, some of my favorites, of course, Eddie Van Halen. He's
the mad shit.
He's just yeah, exactly. I mean, just ever since I was young, Eddie Van Halen's just been really cool. I always thought he was cool, and I've got all his albums and everything.
Well,
and,
not trying to go on to the topic, but really quickly, he's one of him and Jimi Hendrix are very overrated about their lead playing, where their rhythm and ability to write a song is where their bread and butter is.
Yeah.
Van Halen's got a lot of good songs.
Oh,
you could take off the lead track and people would still listen to Van Halen. Maybe with Hendrix. Well, actually, yes, you could, because not Light My Fire, but Fire and Manic Depression and all those good Jimi Hendrix songs.
They are good. Yeah, they are good
songs. But the guitar playing, that's what we're here to discuss.
That's what we're here to discuss today.
But anyways,
I like Eddie Van Halen, Jason Becker, which oh man,
might be the most underrated guitarist of all time.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people don't even know who
if
Jason
you're
Becker
not
is,
in a guitar circle.
Yeah. Jason Becker he has Lou Gehrig's disease, and he is in a wheelchair now, and
still writing music.
Still writing music, though. You can't kill that spirit.
Like 20 years later.
Yeah, 20 years later, but if you've never seen Jason Becker play before he got Lou Gehrig's, look it up. YouTube it right now. Just pause this video, open another window, and go to YouTube again and watch it, because he is just amazing. I mean,
and after seeing him play
and neoclassical playing, and even when he's doing rock, it's really it's very clean, but it's also got a lot of feeling in it too.
It was always funny to me that Marty Freeman, he didn't make my list of overrated, but he's not nearly as good as the people he's been around.
Yeah,
he's borderline pentatonic player. Borderline pentatonic player when he's best friends with Jason Becker.
Yeah.
He's best friends with Paul Gilbert.
Well, yeah, and even...
How does that not rub off?
Well, yeah, that and even Dave Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine, but Dave Mustaine's a pentatonic player.
Yeah, that's true, that is
But
true.
when he writes his riffs...
But still, you think that when he brought... I mean, considering listening to Rest in Peace as an album...
and another thing about Marty Freeman, he would not play Chris Poland's licks.
Yeah.
Where Chris Broderick, on the other hand...
will play. Chris